you remember what your first song was about? I'm sure like you're probably cringing at it now.
I remember writing like things I was not proud of at like 10, 11, like 11 when I'd first started playing some chords. I would try to write some stuff, and it was, just very kind of like developmental. It's like when you hear a child speak a language, you're like, well, that's someday, maybe. And then when I was like 12, I wrote my first couple like structurally sound songs. Like whether or not they were good, sort of, a matter of opinion, but like structurally sound. Like you could tell what the verse was, and what the chorus was, and what the bridge was. It went somewhere. And a lot of that was because my mother, who is a songwriter, had kind of opened my eyes to just sort of structure like that. Her point was like, there's no wrong way to write a song, but let's just talk about some of the songs you love. We'd analyze Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, or we'd analyze like a Avril Lavigne song or something. She'd be like, so this is the verse structure in this song, then in the chorus portion, there's this hook that relates to the verse, and then the second verse recontextualizes her point was, you don't have to write a song like this, but here's why you like this song.
Exactly. This is why it's satisfying. This is why it's got the resolve at the end. It's got the call and response. Like it's got all those little all those tiny little dopamine hits that you have in music.
Well, totally. Yeah, and I think that to me, as a songwriter, it's been a great joy to know the sort of like right way to write a song and then disregard it. And,
exactly.
And change it. I think if I didn't have any kind of like awareness of the kind of standard, I would be like always stabbing in the dark. And I think like having an awareness of it means I'm like, well, I could always take this road, or I can just bushwhack this way and see what happens. And that's almost always what I choose to do. But it's nice to know.
I always thought that about Bad Guy. I was like one of the biggest songs of the last decade. I mean, it's got over 1 billion streams on Spotify, and it doesn't have a chorus.
I know. And I remember, being a little bit like I loved the song. Billie loved the song. Anyone we played it for loved it. I remember playing it in its very early stages for Dominic Fike. I was over. At his studio. He's a friend of mine, and I remember playing it for him, and he just said, "Bro, you're an alien."
He was right.
And I remember being like, "Well, that's very nice." It was nerve-wracking. I remember thinking everything about the song I really enjoy. Am I shooting its prospects in the foot by not having a payoff chorus? And I think in many ways it would have been shooting it in the foot if it had a chorus. It works because of the way that it is, and its oddness.
We mentioned your mom being a songwriter. Does she have points on the album?
She doesn't have points on the album. She's I mean,
mamas don't get points. Mamas get like positive points going, thanks mom, that was exactly the chord I needed for that part of that song.
Over the course of a couple years, she's dropped a line or two into our songs. There's a line in Ocean Eyes, Burning Cities, Napalm Skies. I think napalm was, I think that was her.
Oh, wow.
Her word.
A lyric from your mom to drop in, like napalm.
It's pretty awesome, because I was like, what's like what are, I want to say something about skies. She was like, what about napalm? I was like, that's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So like when you like when was it like you and Billie started playing together? Was that annoying that she was like kind of stepping on your music toes like a little bit, or was it like happy days?
I was not that she didn't want to, but I was begging her to make music with me. I always thought she had a great voice.
That's such not a brother and sister relationship that I can relate to. Like growing up with my sister, like we hated each other until we were about 18, and then we like started to understand each other, and we're like, okay, I get.
Well, I was 18, to be fair.
Okay.
So she was 13, and we were homeschooled, so we were very close our whole childhood, and I just thought she was hilarious. loved spending time with her, and she was a real perfectionist. And, I was like, oh man, we should make some music together. We should make some music together. She was like, okay. And by the time she was 13, she kind of had she was like doing other things with the discipline of a young adult that, isn't necessarily present when you're like 10. Do you know what I mean? Like she was
Yeah.
she was taking all these dance classes and being a camp counselor at horseback riding summer camps and stuff. And she was like really putting in work. And I was kind of recognizing that in her. I was going, oh, she's really like being disciplined in this. And I felt my whole feeling about making music is that there are elements of it that are joyous and chaotic and frenetic, and then there are elements of it that are like to be really disciplined. And like I think to get a song in its recorded form to like 100%, it takes like an amount of tedium that I think a lot of people are just like not really cut out for.
I don't think a lot of people. Yeah, I think you're right. Like a lot of the great artists, and one of the things about this podcast is we like normally have demos to play with, and with that you understand, and it's something I've learned over the 40 or so I've done, that there's so many different versions of a hit song, and really that song might not have been a hit song if you had went with version 2 instead of version 20, because they sound so different, and even just the mixing of the drums could wreck it.
I know, it's great. Like there's Mr. Brightside is a song I reference all the time, and I love that song and I love its production. And there's they put out an album a couple years ago. My suspicion is to put another notch in their label deal's album count belt called Direct Hits, which was like their greatest hits record. And they included a demo of Mr. Brightside, and it sounds terrible.
Yeah. I think there's a band I love from the UK called the Stone Roses, and they released their debut album. The album was actually set to come out 3 years beforehand. It was mixed by somebody else, and it's fucking dreadful. Like, I mean, if it got sent to me today, there's not a mission I could play it on the radio. Yet the same album got mixed by somebody else and re-recorded, and it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, it really is. It really shows you like how much a good producer or a good person that can steer the project is valuable.
It can always, I think it can drive you crazy in many ways too. Like, this is a weird example. I love the song Creep by Radiohead, as so many people do. And there are things about that recording that are amazing, like the guitar that Johnny plays in the chorus, that like that thing that he, right before the hook. But the drums in that song are too loud for me. Like they're just like, the vocals are here and the drums are like here, and I really want them to be like there. And that's like every time I listen to it, I'm like,
I think they'd probably agree with you, because like from being a big Radiohead fan as I am, they do not like that song Creep. They definitely don't like playing it live.
I know, which is.
Like, do you think that because that was their breakthrough track? Like that was the track. That was the track that broke them in America. It was the track that South Park sent up when it was like, "I'm a creep, I'm a wiener." Do you think you'll have that relationship with say
Bad Guy?
Like Bad Guy or Ocean Eyes, like one of the tracks that really sort of helped put you on the map?
I mean,
it's hard to probably talk about it because it's not that long ago, but like
Bad Guy is so fun to play live that I don't know that we'll ever feel that way about Bad Guy. It was made, to be played live. Like, I made it as like a Coachella opener, and we got to open Coachella with it, and it's just a great moment in the show. Now we close with it because you have to, but I don't know that we'll ever feel that way about Bad Guy. But Ocean Eyes, I think, feels more and more like a cover.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because that was a long time ago. Like,
it was a long time ago, and I think like we played that at every show for 4 years, and so to us, we just have a kind of a like, our connection with that song now is, oh, this is making kids happy, and I think that
was the first song I played of yours on the radio. I think it was the first play on Radio 1, like 2016.
Awesome. Yeah, right. Probably early 2016.
Yeah.
Have you? We get that song out of the way in the live show really quick now. It used to be in the the penultimate track basically, and now it's like, I think, third.
You don't do like a Beatles where you like play all the songs like sped up by like double. We're just like, right, let's get it out of the way. Done.
Yeah, we put it. But it's, you know what though, I love it when artists do that. I saw as a fun example, I saw Tovlo pretty recently, and
Oh, she's great. Yeah.
I love her, and she played Cool Girl like second or third, and I
Mm.
was just like, oh, great, because you know that's one of the songs that for me I'm like waiting the whole show to hear, and it's so satisfying to just have them like come right out and like give it to you.